few items. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hopefully everybody is preparing to be safe, really trying to get everything together so that way, you and your families can be safe over the next few days.
What? It didn't kill the dog, Tiger.
We can hear you and Eddie killing the dog.
All right, now that we've killed the dog. So there's been some notifications as Northern Florida, Central Florida, when we're doing our road shows. There were some under 65 events that have been moved and to different dates. There are some other events for over 65 as well. So keep your eye on the Florida Blue emails. They're going to be communicating with us as they're making these changes for these launch events. At this point, I think all of us have completed our Medicare launch events. There may be a few of you that were going to that last one, but we have learned a lot of different things, and we will be doing training on those Medicare processes as well as the launch event details that they went through with broad strokes, probably over the next week or two. Now, as we start doing that, it'll give us an opportunity to talk more subtle details about the products, the D-SNP, the C-SNPs, as they did very big broad strokes at our launch events. Now, obviously, the rubber will hit the road with the details, and the devil is always in the details, as I like to say. So as we're looking at that, we do want to understand that and just kind of manage everyone's expectations. Then as we're looking at these D-SNP and C-SNP programs, they are really geared up towards rest of year enrollments. It's not something that typically we spend a lot of focused time and energy during open enrollment. Obviously, if you run up against someone who is Medi in the 4 counties that it is going to be available, Medicaid and Medicare, then of course that becomes something that we can utilize and enroll. However, most of the people who are in that dual process and they are dual eligible, they understand that they don't need to deal with all the craziness of open enrollment, and obviously we will work more on that after open enrollment has completed. Those of you that did attend the events, you saw that we've got some great opportunities. We've got, as you're doing your training, you will see and learn about, new pieces of the product, enhancements to the regional PPO, enhancements to the HMO product lines, as well as ancillary benefits, which will definitely help us in our sales processes this year. I really think that they are going to be very appealing. I think that the regional PPO is going to be something that people will lean more to, especially as we look at the competitive landscape and the other PPOs, regional PPOs that are out there in the marketplace and what they have available as well. We did get a note just the other day that it appears that United Healthcare will be substituting their Silver Sneakers program with a new health program, a new fitness program. So that's going to cause some turmoil. That's going to give us an opportunity for a conversation because it's not going to be Silver Sneakers. The final details of what they're going to be offering is just a partnership that they have now created with a new fitness style program. So it's very much like Silver Sneakers, but they're just moving away from it. So that's important. That's another talking point to get us to the regional PPO. Those individuals who were looking at those products and, that was the deciding factor, not to take our PPO program. Now we have that enhancement because we too will have those fitness programs built into it. So exciting times. I think we should have a very successful open enrollment. We are going to make sure that everyone that is selling HMO, preferred HMO, it really understands that the selling point, and I can't emphasize this enough, typically over the past years have been our network. And it's always been, why do you buy blue? You buy blue because you can go anywhere you need to go. Well, times have changed, as shockingly enough. So that conversation has to change slightly, and we have to really add the value to the programs. And because if we do not have the humongous, network that we've always had, and now we've chiseled that network down over the last year and a half, making it much more sculpted. Now what we have to understand is we have to sell the value of the HMO for those, lower copays, lower out of pocket, enhanced ancillary benefits, and that's going to make the difference. So realize, and you and your teams are going to have to really get good at it, is that as you're searching the provider directory, managing the expectations of your members, making sure that you're able to communicate with your members about the level of importance of certain doctors. If it's your podiatrist that's not inside the network, that may not be an end all or a reason not to buy our product. So when we're doing our searching and we're talking and having those conversations, we do want to be prepared for those conversations, because the positioning of the sales process is going to change, and it changed last year. Some people were very successful with that, embraced those changes. And, members have to understand, my big thing, and you guys have heard it in the last 2 years, flexibility, choice, those big things come at a cost, right? So if someone wants to be able to go wherever the hell they want, know that they are going to pay for that flexibility. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, there's other carriers that have those, larger networks or different. The network size typically is going to be really competitive. It's just which doctors, and maybe that one primary care doctor is not in. And of course, if a primary care doctor or the primary care group is not in, that may be more challenging and a little bit more difficult. But remember that we do have multiple options. We have our PPOs, and in some cases, a lot of our seniors that can qualify are moving back to a Medicare supplement style plan. That cost they don't mind paying because, pardon me, because they want that flexibility. So know that you could always have that conversation. Obviously, there's qualification questions that come through when we're dealing with Medicare supplement, but know that they can go down that path and have the choices that they want and go wherever they want. In the Tampa Bay area, we've got challenges when it comes with Bay Care physicians. And now our facilities are covered under our preferred HMO, but the Bay Care doctors are questionable. Now, as you do searches, you can look and you can see, and you will find that they do not accept the program, and that will continue to be so when we're talking on the preferred HMO. However, as you make a migration to a regional PPO and our other product segments in Medicare, they would have those access points. So that may have a value to the customer, and you need to sell that. Sell that where if you've got Medicare, you don't have to worry about all this network mumbo jumbo. And if, Bay Care is fighting with Blue Cross or some other hospital system is fighting with the carrier, and there's all this back and forth, and is my doctor going to take it and is my doctor not going to take it? At the end of the day, if they can migrate and afford a Medicare supplement and, of course, qualify, they don't have to worry about those things. It's a much more stable process when it comes to the network, and they don't have to worry about it year after year, and they don't have to go through all of this mumbo jumbo. So it's just a good conversation if you're not having with your members when we come to Medicare, as we're getting very close. They do want to know that those options and our Medicare supplements are competitive with everyone else that is out there. So, that is a good way to keep everybody blue. Now, just briefly, on the roadshow, they spent way too much time on the RX plans or the standalone plans. I don't really foresee them being a huge portion of your business this year. Again, obviously compensation, the amount of time, energy, and effort that goes into those PDP plans is just as much as a Medicare Advantage plan for the most part. And our Medicare Part D prescription drug plans are lackluster at best. Great formulary list. So the list is strong. The medications that are on there is strong. The product itself, from a competitive standpoint, there are a lot of other plans that are out there that may be better solutions. Now, of course, we have a contractual obligation. We cannot sell those other plans, but there is a lot of value if you're doing a Medicare supplement, to work with that customer and at least give them the proper guidance as what might be the best plan, as we all are familiar with Medicare.gov. Now, I'm not going to spend any time on Medicare.gov today for drug searches and things like that. We'll do that as we get closer to open enrollment, and we're talking more about searching and when things start getting released, and that way we can see where everything lines up. But know that, it is a great idea for you to get someone on a Join Me, or some sort of web share program. Our seniors are loving that. They really enjoy that. There's a lot more on Facebook. There's a lot more using a computer, believe it or not. So you have to take advantage of those opportunities, and really showing them what's going on Medicare.gov and how you can search, and they have that faith in what you're doing, and the process will help you and enhance your sales overall. So everybody pretty much at this point, especially with the storm coming, bless all of our people down in Miami and South Florida. It's going to be a freaking mess. I hope everyone is going to be safe. We really need to make sure that all of your certifications are done while we still have power. So I know that sounds terrible, right? But that way you don't have to worry about it. Should have probably already gotten it out of the way. It should be done. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple this year. Just to review really quickly, come into Florida Blue IST Individual Sales Tool. When you log in, you will go to Sales and Training Support located on the top, and then you will see your Florida Blue Learning. We've gone through this umpteen times. One more time is not going to hurt. Once you click on Florida Blue Learning that you see here, it's going to bring you to the GuideWell training page. Several of you have asked about a couple of other things. That's why I want to touch on this today, because I was playing around in here last night and found some pretty good documents, some pretty good things that are probably help in a training perspective. And I think that even seasoned agents, it will assist a great deal. So as we know, we have our Medicare core training that needs to be done. That's the core curriculum. That should be completed and done. And now they have released the product training. The product training can be a little tricky. So you are going to have to take that handy dandy book, the big fat binder that they gave you when you were at your training, and you will need that to complete your sales process, because it's going to question ancillary benefits. It's going to question what extra benefits. And that's where I see a lot of people getting hung up, as far as what ancillary products are available in and built within certain of our MAPD plans. Take your time, go through it. If you fail once, I would say take screenshots. I would take notes, believe it or not, because, you just don't want to make sure you don't have any issues with it. So get that product done. Once the product and the core curriculum are done, you will be set. That information will automatically be parsed over to Florida Blue, so that way they will have notification. Now, for new agents, there are a bunch of CGA training modules. These are not required modules, but as agency directors and owners, I would spend some time and go through this. There are some good pieces in here. And there are some that are just so fundamentally simple that if you don't know how to do them by now, you got major other problems. But for new agents, it's great. How to log into Access Blue, how to register for Access Blue. I mean, this is stuff that we've been doing at A&B. We've always created these documents, so it looks like they've just gone ahead and taken those steps to do so. But I think this will assist if you got new agents that are coming in. Let them go through these processes. You can assign these processes to them and go through that. So some of them, as I said, are good. Some of them are a little lackluster. You're going to work with them the same way that you did before with the Medicare programs, where you would go ahead and select and start, so that way you could just jump right through them. Some of these are job aids, and they are just simply screenshots of the process. So in other words, going out to the marketplace, circling things, how to fill out an application, something that if a person does an application one time on their own, they'll be able to do it. But I think it's a good idea for you to kind of look through these, see what's important to you, which ones you guys like as agency owners, and make sure that you're comfortable with it, because I think they will help you alleviate some of your training that you do with your teams. Again, if they're a seasoned agent and they've been enrolling everyone there are some enhancements that they've done for 2018. So like, for example, let's just pull up, I have saved it last night, actually, when I was working through it. They had some fact sheets in here that were really good. I thought those were good for 2018. But the enhancements on the system enhancements, this is a job aid that has come out. I think this will help a great deal as well. These job aids are located in both this area right here, as well as training and support. So when they release all of the 2018, for example, the road show, we'll make sure that we do training and we'll have slides on that. But they are starting to put 2018 documentation in here as well. So you can see here's our fact sheets about the network for 18, and that's what I'm referencing over here in our drive that we use for our team. How to get a temp ID card was off that job aid. The My Blue fact sheet as well. But I like this enhancements, and this will kind of give you guys an idea of what's on the docket to come through with the renewal process, the agency links. This is all located in the training. So I think it's a good idea for you to kind of look through that and spend some time. Is the product training for Medicare or under 65 too? Good morning, Jane. No, it's just Medicare. The product training, I'm sure that they will have some CBT, some computer-based training on the product, but it has not been released. That will be released post the roadshow. So there's nothing in here that is specific for that product yet. We are looking for the product to be very stable when it comes to the ACA landscape. I don't think you're going to see a bunch of significant changes. Now, I need to preface that with in 2 weeks, we may see more changes than we know about because the cost share reductions are still on the table. What those plan makeups look like and how they're going to be devised and what they're going to be is yet to be told. Because if the political landscape, if the government changes the CSRs and the cost share reductions and they go through all of that process and make our lives crazy, then Florida Blue already has plans that they're prepared to release that will replace some of the other plans. Now, they'll look a lot like what we're used to, but you will see some new off-marketplace plans that may be less expensive. You will see some new bronze plans because as a lot of these people have significant rate increases that are lightly subsidized, we need to give them some options in maybe the bronze space to where we can write them a bronze with an ancillary product to keep them insured and keep them going. Also, the individual mandate still on the table. Not sure with all of the things that are going on. We've got multiple hurricanes. We've got fires in LA. We've got all kinds of craziness going on. There's still the whole build a wall kind of thing. We've got Jose knocking on the door and, we've got all kinds of things coming around, right? So how much they emphasize this with tax reform and how much of a bug up the behind the president gets with the cost share reductions, and does he want to push this year so close to open enrollment and make all of our politicians make a decision is yet to be seen because it is very unpredictable. Just as unpredictable as everything going on in Korea, North Korea area. I mean, the world is going to hell in a handbag, so the health insurance piece of it is very important. Now, when we look at the rest of the country is also in disarray, and carriers are exiting. Some carriers are entering. Different states have different, opportunities, and some states don't have any coverage in multiple counties, and they don't even have an option. So a lot of these things are kind of all working hand in hand, where we know that Florida Blue will still be offering coverage in 67 counties this year, so we're comfortable with that. We know that the competitive landscape is going to change in the state of Florida. Excuse me. There are, depending on who you listen to and what articles you read, we know that we have Centene and Molina that will still be playing in Florida. So that is going to be our AM Better and Molina. But we know that Humana is going to be leaving. We're not sure what the rates are going to end up being. We know that the filed rates for Molina have huge rate increases, but those rate increases could be a portion of the cost share reduction, and where it ends up and shakes out at the end of the day when we get to the bottom of that tree and then, open up the day on October the 15th for blind shopping, no one knows. So we're all going to have to be prepared to move and shake as things happen and know that we should have great opportunity. We'll have renewals with our current block of business. We have Humana exiting with 20 to 30,000 members completely out of the individual market. And we're going to have a little bit of competition with AM Better. We'll have a little competition with Molina in certain markets. And, that is good. Having that competition helps. So it will not hurt us. It will help us in the grand scheme of things, because we do want choice, because with no choice, then we have more problems with commissions and things like that, which, of course, still have yet to be released. So we will wait and see what happens. And once Blue Cross gets that to us, then, of course, you as agency owners will be able to communicate all of that information to your team. But anyone who's on this call today know that no one has received any type of compensation documents as far as what things look like. We have heard just briefly that things will remain stable, but, that's about it. I mean, any more detail other than that is out there, and anything else that you hear is hearsay because nothing has been finally defined yet. Excuse me. So we've got a lot of training going on. We've got, conversations with our current customer base about renewals and things like that. You know, obviously over the next 4 or 5 days, there's going to be a lot of not going on because of, you know, hurricane readiness, making sure that we're all safe. So we're going to cut our meeting pretty short today, making sure that I think we've covered the things that are important to us, because we don't have a lot of detail to talk about until all of our training done, all of our product training is completed, and then we have some more details to talk about. Once I receive all the slides from Florida Blue, then we'll be able to do training on our Medicare product portfolio. But until we have those, no sense in reinventing the wheel, and not everyone has attended all of those events yet as well. So do I have any questions when it comes to certification, training and support documentation that we have here, different things that are going on from that perspective, getting your teams ready, questions, anything that we should cover as a group today? All right. Well, I hope everybody is super safe. We'll be communicating out to everyone any updates as Florida Blue makes changes to road shows and different things like that. So if you have any questions or anything, you know, we'll have our cell phones. Our offices are more than likely probably going to be closed tomorrow, just in making sure that all of our teams can prepare with their families depending on what way this hurricane seems to go. Question coming in from Paul: how can I verify that my ACA certificate was received and logged into the system? Florida Blue will be communicating that back out to us all as we get closer to open enrollment. So they'll typically send out a list of anyone who has not certified or has not received it. Typically when you email that in to FFM certifications, they're not going to communicate back with you, so we're just kind of hurry up and wait. Definitely keep your eyes on this training and support material. They're adding stuff all the time, and we'll let everybody know as we hear more. But does anybody have any other questions before I let everyone go? All right. Well, that being said, everybody be safe, be close with your families. Hope you got water and gas and all of that good stuff that you need. And we will talk to everybody next week. And please get everything certified and done before your power goes out, so you don't even have to worry about it. Get that off your plate, and that way next week we can start training more specifically on, you know, product and sales techniques and things like that that we need to be successful with open enrollment for Medicare, and then following that, of course, readiness meetings for ACA. I want to thank everybody for their time. Hope everybody is safe, and have a great day.